Good?
Yes.
All right. Hello and welcome to... Fuck, every time. No rewrites. I always want to say Blue Sky.
New rewrites.
New rewrites. Blue Sky will be later. It's going to be a section now. That's it.
Just a section, an old namesake. We are a brand new podcast that is exactly the same as the old podcast. How are you doing, Adeel? You doing good today?
Good. I'm feeling like low energy today.
Low energy? Well, that's going to make for a great
recording.
Episode. Yeah.
No, it just means you got to do more lifting.
Oh, well, good thing I'm feeling low energy too.
Oh, wow.
I think it's just in the air these days.
Episode 19 will always be remembered as the low energy episode.
Yeah, and we have been sort of keeping track of our podcast's age, episode age, and ability to drink. So now we're legal to drink in the entirety of Canada.
We should do an episode where we just take a shot before each section.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Like Blue Sky, a shot, and then prompt, shot, and then...
Oof.
I think that'd be a fun exercise.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
And then it would have to be... No.
We'd have to do it with the day after to kind of have the recovery time, you know? Like a day where we don't have to do anything, you know? It's like a free day.
Yeah.
So it'll be a 2-day.
Man, lately, I don't know what's happening. My left eye's been twitching.
Oh, yeah? That means you're tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well...
100%.
That kind of really
checks
cements
out.
Checks out.
Checks out. All right, welcome to No Rewrites, the podcast where we don't rewrite anything and we come up with a short film idea
based on
the spot, based on a prompt.
Before we get started, maybe what'll help our energy right now is if we play a little game
called Mind Meld.
Yeah,
and hopefully you're not sick of it yet. We're not even going to explain it. You're going to understand. And if you've been listening along, hopefully you understand. And if you don't, then it's not my fault.
Money back guaranteed.
It's not my fault.
All right, ready?
All right.
Let's
go 3, 2, 1.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
Blue.
Blue cat.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Cartoon.
Seuss.
Cartoon Seuss.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Grinch. Oh, right. That's good.
Grinch.
Oh, I got something.
3, 2, 1.
Jim
Christmas.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey and Christmas. Shit.
3, 2, 1. Carol.
Movie Carol.
Yeah, movie Carol.
Okay. Well. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Scrooge.
Home Alone. Of course,
Home Alone.
Scrooge. That's exactly what it is.
Scrooge Home Alone. Fuck.
We're getting further away.
We're getting real far.
Scrooge Home Alone.
3, 2, 1.
Movie.
Pesci movie.
3, 2, 1. Goodfellas.
Yeah,
there we go.
We brought it back.
Yeah, we were faking it. We just wanted to make sure we ended with Goodfellas. That's why I felt like it took so long.
Also, like if everything just worked out in movies, like it would just be like, hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. They get married. Everything's good. You know, things are about tension. They're about growth.
That is the future of movies, of like the 1 minute time span people. It was like just going to be like the movie is they meet, they fall in love, they get married within.
And everything is fine and there's no problems and they don't have any work to do on themselves or their relationship.
Yeah, it's going to be done over
totally
4 TikTok videos, and that's the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Each TikTok video is going to be a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4. Oh my God, is that actually a cool way to make a film? You literally do 4 TikTok videos. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4.
And then you're trending.
No, yeah, and you do a series of this. Dude, I'm just saying. It started as a joke. It could work.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
Is that what we're going to do today? We're going to do
oh, that's interesting.
We're going to do a series of
that
4
could be an
TikToks.
interesting prompt later. Yeah. Make social media content.
TikTok. Yeah, that would be funny. Like, look at or get someone else to look at it because I can't be fucked. Like a TikTok trend and like try and do based on a prompt, write a TikTok trend.
But it's also like slowly we start doing stuff like, because you know how we're like, we didn't get better social media management going for our podcast. So it's like slowly we start like just doing like errands through this. It's like taxes is a prompt. Yeah. We got to do our taxes on the podcast. Yeah. Because the only way we're actually doing shit is through the prompt.
We have to go get massages.
Self-care. I think the prompt bowl leads us pretty well with that.
Okay, great. So
one more
one more mind meld?
That's for fun.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Handle tattoo. Ooh. 3, 2, 1. Gun. Whoa. That's what the movie would be. That would be the TikTok version of Mind Meld. Sick.
That was
pretty good. That was pretty good.
Okay.
We're doing a lot of improv, so yeah. All right. So yeah, we're gonna draw a prompt from the Forsaken Bowl, and we're gonna do that in this section called
The Prompt.
Okay, welcome to the prompt section where Adeel and I have both put numerous ideas into the Forsaken Green Bowl, and Adeel's going to draw one, and it will inform the work we're about to do today.
Yeah, and I feel like the prompts are getting more like prompts because before they were just genres, but like last week we did bottle episode film, so it's like very prompty. It wasn't like, horror.
And I kind of barely remember what I put in there because we're reusing the pile from the last couple weeks.
I picked one.
There could be some interesting curveballs in there. All right.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Oh, I think this is me again. Superhero. Yeah. Use it in a sentence.
Can you show it to me?
That's it's spoken.
I think that's me. Yeah. No, that's your handwriting.
Yeah, yours is way neater.
No, it's not.
Yeah, is it? No.
My handwriting is bad.
I just feel like yours is more like
Sumerian fucking engravings. Yeah. Superhero.
Mm-hmm. Can you use it in a sentence?
Superhero. The superhero saved the day by killing a large swath of civilians to stop the villain from doing one thing.
Ultimately, he caused way more damage.
The superhero destroyed the city in the process of defeating the villain.
Okay, cool. Wait, who are people that mug people? Mugglers?
Muggles?
No, what's the word?
In the Harry Potter world, yes.
What do you call them?
Muggers.
Muggers, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's the word? It's not muggles. Okay, cool. Superhero. I'm going to write this down so we don't forget our prompt.
Superhero. So that's kind of easy. I grew up on, the Marvel comics, mostly canon of superheroes.
You read the comics?
I read a lot of the comics. Yeah. My name, Jono, my nickname comes from a comic called Generation X, which was like an offshoot of the X-Men. It was like the younger generation, and two of the main X-Men, or like the broader X-Men, Banshee and Emma Frost, headed up a team of like teens, and Jubilee,
like
who's
X-Men
like
First Class.
Kind of like, well, X-Men First Class is like the main team, like Cyclops and all that stuff, right?
No, they had Jubilee and Frost.
But yeah, and Jubilee was part of the original X-Men, but she was younger than everyone, and then she was sort of the like Cyclops of that team, like the sort of leader. But anyway, there was a guy named Chamber whose chest was on fire. Like he just had this chest fire and like no mouth. And his name was spelled Jonothon, and mine is Jonathon. And then my friend Matthew Dalmont, shout out Matthew Dalmont, who probably would never listen to this podcast. Damn you. Started calling me Jono because they called him Jono in there, and then the rest is history. But that was when I was like fucking, I don't know, 10 or 11 or 12 or some shit.
Like 50 years ago.
50 years ago, yeah.
Louise. When there was still, there's a milkman and everything.
So yeah, I've got a pretty deep line on superheroes, but probably not as much as, even though I had a lot of errors in my Star Wars knowledge. And that
it's interesting because
Star Wars episode, but
you're from that era of like, I mean, not even era. You're from like your comic book love or your superhero love comes from comic books. Mine is like, I got really into it with the MCU.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man from then on, like Guardians and Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, like that whole saga, Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Yeah.
Like all that shit.
Like good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny because when I was growing up, we didn't have Marvel movies, and like the only, like the Batman thing was
cartoons were good though.
The cartoons were cool. Like the X-Men cartoon was great. Spider-Man cartoon was great. Spider-Man. Radioactive. But there was no movies, right? And there used to be this magazine called Wizard Magazine that was like, a bunch of articles on comic books, and then the back would be like the sort of listings of how much your trading cards or your comics were worth.
Yeah.
But they would have a section every month called Casting Call, and they would cast who, like they would do like fictional cast members.
Yeah. I love that.
Of like what the Marvel movies would be like. And I remember they one issue they cast Jack Nicholson as Wolverine, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. He's a little old, but like
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson would be a great Wolverine.
Yeah, for sure, and like just kind of wily and shit. But yeah, we never had that. And then when like I guess Iron Man and shit started coming out, things changed, and now I think people's relationship with Marvel is mostly like the predominant Marvel fan comes from the movies, not from
I mean,
comics.
even if it's like the fan base is so big that even if it's 50% of them are Marvel from comic books, then falling in love with the movies, that's still crazy that 50% comes from just the movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember like watching Spider-Man and X-Men cartoons, but Iron Man and Captain America and Hulk, I didn't really care about much.
Yeah.
Thor, when Thor came out, I was like, what the hell? I've never heard of this. Like, that's how out of it I was. And then when I watched the movie, I was like, Avengers, the first Avengers, I was like, okay, I kind of like all these characters.
Yeah.
And they just did a good job. Just like characters like Captain America, I could see that being and it is technically a boring, kind of bland kind of character.
I always thought that.
They did such a Winter Soldier. Like I was like, this guy's great. And Civil War, and then even in Infinity War, like they took characters that could be boring, too-dimensional, or just, again, too flashy or whatever, that you're like, but you kind of really care for them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And
it's gonna be a nerdy episode.
Yeah, for sure. I also, like, you grew up on the Batman movies and stuff too, but like I feel like they were kind of misfires. Like I didn't really connect with the Batman. I mean I liked them and like had all the McDonald's toys and shit when they came out, and the fucking mugs, like the glass mugs from Batman and Robin. But I just felt like there wasn't a lot of great in those movies. Like they're just
which movies talking about?
Like the
Michael Keaton.
The Michael Keaton, like just that whole spectrum up to and
Joel
including
Schumacher
like George Clooney and fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Val
and all those
Kilmer
guys.
did one.
Val Kilmer was in that strip
Spectrum,
of movies, but I never really connected with them. And like I feel like the stuff that they can do now with CG and with like just modern storytelling, the stuff that like the ideas of the characters are the same, but like they're applied in a new, interesting, fully fleshed out way that I really like.
Yeah. Well, it's like the original Batman, and this is a good comparison, is like those felt like superhero films, where now they're like, no, let's treat them like, those were treated like movies, and now they're treated a bit more like films, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Because like Dark Knight, like Batman growing up, I did not like at all, because I was like I was that kid who was like, well, he doesn't have superpowers, so is it really a superhero? Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, it's cool that he's just like a masked vigilante that's like, the common man or whatever that helps the thing. Like, fuck that. Like, Spider-Man has web and strength and all this shit. Same with Superman. But then when the movies came out, weirdly, I started not liking like the Superman movies, because I was like, again, very two-dimensional. Like, I'm just this guy who can do anything.
Yeah.
And then Batman had all these arcs and shit, like Dark Knight and Batman Begins.
If they became
and
more
Dark Knight
complex
Rises.
and human.
Well, they became more like cinematic films, where it's like, let's talk about their stories and their motivation, as opposed to like, I'm just trying to help the world. But why? Yeah. What's your weakness? What's your like humor? What's your dark side? You know
what like kind of changed my perspective on what superhero movies could do was Shyamalan's Unbreakable.
On my list, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh man, it's really good. It's like, it's what if there were people with superpowers, it's kind of how that would unfurl in real life. Like all these other MCU things, it's like fucking, just people with flashy powers and whatnot. And of course they have their internal struggles and flaws and whatnot, but Unbreakable was just like a guy who happened to be in a train accident and was the only survivor. And then through that, he discovered that he's essentially unbreakable. And it's not like he's got to go get the villain and then it's a quick origin story and then he's off to the races. It's like slow and weird and he fucks up and it's just really fucking good.
The most underrated superhero film, because it's not even, I think, put in that box or that genre really, but it is totally, is Chronicle. You seen that?
Oh yeah, I love Chronicle.
Dude, that's so fucking
when good. The guy the camera guy starts getting the telekinetic powers, and like, so it's a found footage movie, Chronicle. It's about these kids who go into a cave and like gets they get exposed to some fucking crystal and they all get powers. Yeah. And there's one guy who's just behind the camera the whole time and people are talking to him and shit. But
Dane DeHaan, man, he's so good in that.
It was a fucking amazing movie. And the guy is holding the camera for a good portion of the movie, but then as he develops his powers and becomes evil, he starts like using his telekinesis on the camera. So like the shots get more expansive and like you start to see him in the frame. Brilliant, man. It's like so smart. So fucking smart. No, I really like that. Like and Nolan stuff, like the Batman movies, like there's a grit to them, and there's like a
well, it's like what The Boys does,
characters.
where it's like
Boys,
it's like what would superhero, like Chronicle, Dark Knight, and The Boys, what they have in common is this darkness of like, what would reality be like if there were superheroes? Yeah. And I mean, again, go to MCU, I do think like Infinity War and Endgame did a good job of that, like the snap and the 5 years and everyone's kind of it's still a different, more of a,
in the destruction of the city, like there was fallout from them.
There's
like
fallout. There's like, even the fact that we made that joke earlier about, superheroes, they destroy the city, but they save the day. Avengers talks about it a lot. Yeah. Like there's literally Spider-Man, the first one, Homecoming, is about Michael Keaton's character's the crew that's there to clean up the mess that the Avengers did in New York.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not just like, oh, it happened, boom, peace. It's like, no, what's the aftermath of that?
Yeah, there's accountability.
Yeah.
Whereas all like past things, it's just like, yeah, we'll blow up these buildings and shit, and then we'll all like, I'll kiss the damsel, and then everything's fucking fine. I love that.
The repercussions are pretty cool, but
but what I fucking hate is this whole like I liked the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies a lot and like Into the Spider-Verse and shit.
Oh, so good.
But like we're at a point in our cultural understanding of superheroes and comic books and shit that we all fucking know that Spider-Man was bit by a radioactive spider. Like, do we need another origin story of how Spider-Man
But that's
got
what I
made?
liked
But
about
now-
Tom Holland's that they never showed that.
They didn't?
They just skipped it.
In the first one?
Yeah, because you know why? Because so Tobey Maguire, they did that.
No.
Andrew Garfield, they did that. Tom Holland, they introduced him in Civil War, so he was already Spider-Man. That was the cool thing about it. He was already done Spider-Man, which I was like, thank you.
I maybe just like my cynicism has written the origin scene. Even in the first Spider-Man.
Because then Homecoming just starts again with him, like, and he maybe does a little monologue of him, like, I'm the
Right. There'll be like
Spider-Man.
a VO.
Yeah,
opening.
but I don't think they ever show him getting bit. Personally, I don't think so. But again, like, it's like Spider.
Right.
You know who did a good job is Spider-Verse. How they did the origin story, but almost made a joke of it. Because remember, every time someone was introduced, they would do an origin story, like, all right, my turn, and it's like, I got bit, and it was like they made it into a joke, which is like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You
That's
know? Very like self-aware.
And that because Lord and Miller were heavily involved in that too, so they got that good vibe.
Who's
going
your
on. But Garfunkel.
Garfunkel? he made a great.
You know
Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfunkel, son of Simon and. They had the origin story. Fucking Tobey Maguire. They had the origin story.
Well, same with Batman. Fucking every Batman movie is like, oh, bats and cave.
Oh, did his mom's pearls fall in slow motion in the alleyway this time? Oh, well, fucking God.
That was pretty crazy.
So let's not do an origin story.
Or let's do one that's the best one.
The best origin story
Top
ever.
3 superheroes.
Top 3 superheroes. Who, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like picking the obvious, but I think Spider-Man is amazing just because he's really funny. He can do cool stuff. He's noble. I love the video games, the PlayStation video games. Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man are so fucking good. And like, I really loved the just the evolution of that and like what he's capable of. And those movies are just so fucking enjoyable and like the stuff he can do. I think Nightcrawler is a cool character.
Yeah, very underrated because they don't use him enough in the movies.
He was like my favorite guy. Like I had his action figure growing up and stuff.
Really
I really
cool.
liked the idea of teleportation and just like pulling people out of here.
Yeah.
And then third favorite. I'm trying to dig into the old memory here. I also kind of like Beast. Like Donatello was my guy for the Ninja Turtles, and like Beast is also a pretty cool character where he's just like
Beast.
smart and super strong. Fuck, Rogue's kind of cool too because she can take on people's powers.
Yeah, that was. I love how they portrayed that in the first X-Men. The who made that one? Singer, Bryan Singer, I think. Maybe I don't know. But the first one, when Hugh Jackman was introduced.
Weirdly, think it was Brian Drummer. Yeah, he didn't sing. He just drummed.
He didn't. He was a singer.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it was
played drums.
Brian bassist.
Bassist. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brian equipment manager. That's what it was.
Brian Rohde. Yeah.
Brian Rohde. That's what it was. Weirdly, growing up though, I loved Cyclops because I wore glasses, and I was like, fuck yeah, this guy's the best. And then the movies came out, he was always just such a fucking like side character, or the guy who's like, you know, loses the girl, and I'm like, man, can you do a little justice to my guy? And then very quickly I was like, okay, I might jump the Cyclops ship because he's never portrayed good.
Now, okay, good. My memory came back. There was a character that I really fucking loved. I didn't read too many books about her, but she was like I don't know what era it was, but there was this whole thing called the Phalanx Covenant where these like sort of digital sort of aliens from outer space, they're basically just like these like fluid shapes and vaguely humanoid forms of like microchips and like fluid. It was such a weird fucking thing. And it was like a weird techno consciousness that took over the world, but like it bridged over a bunch of different books. Like Generation X was part of it, but there's a character called Blink who is really cool. She kind of looked like Nightcrawler with like lighter purple skin, like big white eyes, but her power was she never blinks, but anytime she blinks, she just like fucking decimates anything around her.
Oh fuck.
And like the way that it would be portrayed in the comic books, like she'd be trapped somewhere and she's like, okay, I gotta do the thing, and then it would like cut outside the ship that she's being held captive on, and it's just like blink, like you just see the word blink, and then like everything gone. Just the next frame, everything's all fucked up. It was just like such a cool fucking character.
Yeah, the mutants, they did a good job of like really evolving that world and have so many like cool mutants. Like there's so many, like by the time X-Men 3 came out, they were introducing so many different ones that I'd never heard of, or like they really went into the lore of the comic books, I feel, by the X3, which wasn't a good movie, or like that wasn't the best movie, but they really used like fucking, they had so many different mutants in it.
Yeah. What about you? Your favorite superheroes?
I'm gonna say the Cyclops because that was like one of my first, and I'm gonna do like not my current favorite because they're very like Iron Man I fucking love, and Spider-Man, and like they're my like, because
Iron Man's also not a superhero like Batman.
Batman, yeah, exactly. No, very true.
He just has a nuclear.
Yeah, no, very true. And that's the thing. Iron Man, I didn't like either until the movies, and I'm like, he's pretty badass.
You're like,
same with Captain
Robert
America.
Downey Jr.
Yeah. I don't know if I like Iron Man. I think I like Robert Downey Jr. I'm gonna do my childhood because it's very different from now, which is Cyclops was top 3.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was top 3 because me and my brother watched the shit out of those cartoons.
What happened to your glasses? Did you get LASIK?
I wear contacts.
You wear contacts?
Yeah.
Do you ever fall asleep with them?
Yeah, so I mean, not lately. I've been pretty good with it.
Do you ever get lost in the back of your eye?
Yeah, man.
Dude, I can't fuck with contacts because of that.
No, I mean, I've
like my eyes are starting to water just thinking about it right
Oh, you
now.
hate that feeling?
Oh, I just don't like the idea of like having something in my eye and it has potential to go behind my eye.
But I like the feeling of when you get it back. It's like such a cool little like journey you went on, and you take it out and you're like, oh, I got it out though. It was like stuck.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. One more for the road. I don't know who my third is. Give me 5 seconds if I can.
We gotta wrap this section up. We can go.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the longest.
It was a big one.
Cyclops, Spider-Man, Superman. Superman, for some reason, I was just very like, as a kid, I was like, he's indestructible. How are you gonna be better than him? I was very like, just logically, I'm like, he's the best. But now I'm like, he's the most boring.
Yeah, he is the most boring.
But as a kid, Superman, Spider-Man, and Cyclops. And thinking back, I'm like, well, what weird choices. Because now, like, except for Spider-Man, the other two are not there. We really should wrap this section
Let's
up.
do that. We're gonna go start talking about ideas.
All
okay.
Right. Bye. Blue sky.
Okay, so obviously we got a lot to say about superheroes.
Question: are we gonna even try to dabble in IP that exists?
Well, that was literally going to be my first question to you.
Oh, are we gonna superpower?
Literally,
I don't know. Interrupts men.
Yeah, steals your thunder boy.
Steals your thunder boy. Yeah, there it is. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, are we gonna make up do we do one about Blink for example purposes, or do we come up with our own superhero? Because like, what I do love about superhero movies now too is there's a lot of comedy involved, and I think both of us lean toward comedy. Yeah. We don't have to make it comedic, but I think there's interesting things like how can superpowers be bad? Or like what like the boys, yeah,
or super villain, almost.
Or super villain, not even a super villain, but like, what's the downside of having a superpower? Is it the celebrity? Is it that like Rogue can't fucking make human contact without destroying that person?
I mean, or the Spider-Man / Superman thing of like, I found true love, but then I have a calling to save the world, so I got to choose between my love and that.
And if people know who I am, then my people are at risk. There's a lot of moral conundrums. So like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Do we want to do something epic and sweeping? And is it a action scene, or is it just like a fucking weird character piece, like a superhero trying to do his taxes and he keeps breaking pens because he's got super strength?
It's like a Pixar short.
Yeah.
At the beginning of a film. That's where like, let's maybe spend the first minute or two on just that, figuring out, do we want to do an origin of a brand new superhero we think of? Brand new?
Let's not do an origin story. Well, I guess if we do a fucking brand new one, we have to kind of do some sort of explanation as to what the fuck is going on.
Or do we do an action sequence, because we haven't done that yet with superheroes, but also like that's just writing, like then he fucking lasers his ass.
Wolf.
First of all, that's not really
full frame pow.
Yeah.
When he punches like the old Batman. Yeah, it's a tough call because, or is it like someone like it's just I feel like everything's been fucking done now because The Boys is like a team of humans trying to dismantle the superhero thing because superheroes are abusing their power. I really love that idea of like it's even Gen V, like the spin-off of The Boys.
How about Misfits? Like the superheroes that didn't make it all make their
there
own
is
team.
I think a show called Misfits about like British, I think it's a British show,
high schoolers or whatever,
and they're like in jail or something, but they have superpowers.
Well, I mean, sorry. That's fuck. Come on, really? I was like, oh, it's just about people. Do they actually have superpowers?
Stole your thunder boy, got his thunder stolen.
Yep, supernatural powers. Fuck off, man. I thought it was original. But staying on that topic though, like I'm just thinking of the construct of the film, or just the box I put it in, where it's like, what if it's like a team meeting of superheroes, and they're trying to maybe because that's the thing, like, do we want to do a very like an action thing? Do we want to do an origin thing? Do we want to do blah blah? Or is it like literally they're almost voting out one of their superheroes because he destroyed a city to save like a mugger? And
because it could be a trial or something,
and we introduce a bunch of new superheroes. Like we can have fun just being like Vanishing Man, where'd he go? I'm right here. Like, you know, just like fuck around with like any kind of names or whatever.
I've got an episode of Night Drives that's yet to be animated all about superheroes with really fucked up powers.
Well, there you go. Let's make this your blue sky for that.
Why don't just copy and paste that script?
Yeah.
I really want to talk about Invincible.
I've never seen it.
It is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It is so fucking good.
Season 2's done now?
Season 2's not done. It's like in process. The first half came out, and now I think in like
now it's a team now,
early
right?
March.
Before it was just about
there
the
was
father, son.
always a team. So like there's a team of superheroes, and then there's this other guy called Omni-Man who comes from another planet.
J.K. Simmons.
And then I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Please don't. And for me either, please.
But like they're all fighting together to save the world, and then something crazy happens, and then it changes the tone of the show, and it's like ultra violent, and it's so
please
fucking
stop.
good. Okay, so we won't talk about Invincible.
Yeah, we can't.
It's amazing.
Unless it helps us write the script.
And Steven Yeun's fucking voice acting is so
Dude, Steven Yeun
good.
in general, dude. Like, have you seen Beef, right?
Yeah, Beef is great.
Man,
I didn't finish it, but
he is so
we loved it.
Fucking,
the acting in that show is so good.
He's so I don't know what the word is, man, but I'm just there. Like, I'm in.
Oh yeah,
when he's on screen, I'm like, I'm fucking in, dude. Like,
he's
whatever
got
you do.
gravitas for sure.
Yeah,
and like he's kind of a shitty character, but like I was complaining about, I didn't like Jodie Foster's character in True Detective, but like Steven Yeun in Beef is equally
if you keep
deplorable.
Watching it's like vulnerable though. Like
but there's still he has this like layer of like ability.
But that's the thing, he has like it's rooted in insecurity. Like when you watch that show, you're like, you're almost feeling for him. You're like, yeah, man, you're such a piece of shit, but it's coming from such insecurities, and so you start like rooting for him, and then it's
yeah, okay.
Season 2 they just announced apparently, but it's weird. He's not in it.
Oh,
it's brand new cast, and it's like Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. What the fuck? Love me some Jake, but come on, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, new superhero or old superhero? Do we fucking flip a coin? Because like I mean, old superheroes like
let's think
it's a bit restricted.
Yeah.
Because
it's fan fiction
it requires us knowing a lot about said superhero, but because I do like we did that Star Wars stoner comedy, like it'd be kind of cool to do some kind of spin on X-Men or Spider-Man or whatever. But yeah, is it a courtroom drama? Is it
about people trying to, and this has been done, but we can make our own version of it, is trying to create a superhero? You know what I mean? Like it's more about the making of a superhero, and they're like, it's like fucking $6 Million Man or whatever, or like Captain America.
What about
your eyes?
Okay, so in like The Boys and shit, it's not much of a spoiler, but they have what's the serum V, or
I think it's V, but I don't know what. Yeah, I think it's just V, no?
Is it V? They have that serum that like everyone claims to be born with superpowers, but it's actually
Compound V.
Compound V is injected into them as they're kids or when they're older, and they get the powers that way. What if it's like an ad agency pitch to like they're doing like they're pitching to a superhero corporation of like the next genetic mix of a superhero and the kind of stuff that they could do, you know? And then we could make up superheroes. It's like Frying Pan Man meets Bird of Paradise Man, you know, like, and they're trying to make it sexy and sell it, and like, you know, I don't know, that could be a funny.
Like, are we? And again, are we like talking about? Is it mostly about that ad agency?
Yeah, it would be. It would be like a like a town
meets,
hall scene where everyone's just kind of like pitching ideas. And then it cuts to a news broadcast, and like all the things that they said were going to be cool, like completely fucked the city up or something, you know?
Do you want to do that thing where it starts in the aftermath of it all, where it's like, again, like it's like the trial thing, where it's like literally like their headquarter and it's all the superheroes sitting, and it starts very like awkward and like thing, because we started like after the aftermath, and they're like, so you know why we brought this meeting, and it's like whatever this one superhero, because this one superhero is like this guy who wanted to start this like Compound V, and they're all just like they kind of just attack him in a way, but we could have some comedy there, because it's like your ideas are so stupid, and it's like he's the one who hired the ad agency and tried to make it happen, because then like it could be all about like there's like that, what are we tumbling towards, or like moving towards, is like they're trying to kick him out, or is it the dad of us new? Have we done this? Oh, I guess it's kind of like the bottle episode, where it's like the dad of a superhero is like trying to get his kid in, but his kid's powers are shit. Like it's invincible, but it's like,
or yeah, it's like it could be kind of like a sports dad watching his, like an ex-football player dad. Just this is an analogy. Watching his very like indoor kid son try and play football, and he's just like, ugh, like, Jeremy, you just fucking suck, and like his superhero kid just sucks. His name's like fucking Chud Man, and the kid farts chuds. Like, it doesn't make any. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. He's got a shitty power. He's got the bad end of the genetic aspect of superherodom. Fuck, I just had another idea ripped through, and now it's gone.
Football, watching it, he sucks. Chud Man, he's bad at his powers.
Chud Man is a fun name. It'll come back. Right. It's a good idea. It will come back. I do like the shitty thing, the shitty superhero aspect. Oh, yeah, it's back. Okay, I'm going to be a bit nebulous here, but like the first question I wanted to ask was like, what do you think the shittiest power would be? What do you think the best power would be? What do you think the shittiest power would be to have as a superhero?
The best power, I used to think, one of the best powers is just controlling time, like freezing time. That'd be kind of cool.
Remember those scenes in X-Men where Quicksilver was just doing shit? I love that stuff.
I like that idea. But again, he was really fast, which is also really fucking cool power. But which it's like him just freezing time and then being able to do whatever is kind of, I think it's like ultimate, because like you can't do shit at that point. If you just it's like Professor X can kind of do that, I guess, because he just makes everything still, and all the Muggles are just still, and he can choose who isn't still. Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like that. But I like the idea of stopping time. But the thing is, the shitty power, I don't want to, it could be a joke. Like, again, he farts. Actually, that's pretty funny. What if he farts flames? So it's like, he does have a cool power, but it's like, he has to fart it.
He has to
lasers come out of his ass. You know what I mean? But I was thinking, what if it's like it's a shitty power because it's so restricting, where it's like, he can only do this one thing. It's pretty cool, but it's only if it's like this, you know what I mean? Temperature, or if it's like limiting. That'd be kind of like more frustrating as a superhero, being like, come on, man, what the fuck kind of power is this?
Yeah. Or like you could fly, but you have to like contort your body in a way that makes you look not cool. Like you have to like have to do like a weird crab
flap your head,
and you just gotta be like,
what if it's
and then you can fly.
But what if also if it's a power that's like what does it really do? It's like all he can do is he can see really far.
Yeah.
He can see so far, but if there's buildings, he can't do anything about it. Like if he can see far, but see there's a building there, I can't see past that. So unless there's no clear vision, path,
he's like, no, really there's a bunch of shit in the way.
Yeah, and then he meets, he falls in love with someone who has maybe like she can fly,
and then she takes
him up, so that he can see stuff.
Yeah,
it's like a love story between the guy who can really see really far, and his dad is disappointed, and then he finds this someone else who he bonds with, and she's like, I can help you with your power.
Yeah.
This is an idea.
That could be something romantic. But there could also be like, it might harken the old script we did about the dude with different versions, like trying to fix the date. Nick of Time, I think it was called.
It'd be similar, you're saying?
Well, yeah. I'm preempting what I'm about to say with that statement. If there was a guy on a date and there's a conversation happening and he's like, stop, like, and like he wants to impress this person, so he'll like she'll say something and then he'll be like, stop, and then research for 4 hours and then have the perfect thing to say. I saw
this one film a long time ago. It was like an Indian film, and it had like these short stories, and it was really cool. I'll just say, because I'm like, otherwise my brain will keep going to that idea, and I need you to make sure we don't do this idea, but it's a really cool idea.
Okay.
This guy gets this power because he's like a loser at school.
Oh, sick.
He gets bullied and shit.
Wicked.
And then he gets this power. He asks God for power, and it's like he can say literally stop, and people stop. And then he goes, move, and they move, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a short story. It's so fucking entertaining. And then basically he gets the girl to fall in love with him by like basically manipulating her, being like, you don't have this power. And she's like, but I don't love you. I have a boyfriend. But he's like, he basically, within a day of having the power, he becomes basically a piece of shit. Because he's like this nerd who now is like, I'm fucking all powerful and shit. Anyways, the last scene of the movie is so well done, where he basically is like, he gets home and he's like, I can do whatever he wants. He gets home, his parents are being mean to him, and he's like, stop, and he goes move, and he runs to his room and shit, and he's like enjoying this fact that he can do whatever the fuck he wants now. He like runs the world, right? And the last scene is like, he like is in his room and he's like, if someone says this to me, I'll say stop. If someone says to me, I'll say stop. And then he goes, all I have to do is say stop, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, and he turns into a statue. And then basically like the ending is like his parents are crying, and it's like they take him to the hospital, but that's him now. So it's like within a day he gets the power and just fucking falls into a pit of despair.
That kind of shit just does it for me. Like I love that. Like I want to like paste a new skin onto that kind of idea.
So we basically edit that out of the podcast and we just do that story.
Yeah, okay.
It's an Indian film.
I always thought a cool power would be psychometry. I think it's
What's
called
that?
Psychometry, where you would touch like this wood thing or this computer, and you would like instantly know everything about like its origins and like where it came from, and like. But I could see that getting also very intense and overstimulating, because literally you sit down in a chair and you're like, Amazon rainforest. You know,
it's like what's that Midas touch?
Yeah,
it's like touch everything and then you can't touch anyone now.
Yeah, it's remember the Sprinkles kid, those Chips Ahoy, the Rainbow Chips Ahoy, and the kid would be like, oops, and like turn
Skittles
everything
had one
into,
too,
and Skittles
like,
did the thing. Yeah.
Let's go back to our constraints.
Let's
go to our not a constraint. Sorry, let's go back to our what's the heart, because then we can figure out the power, we can figure out the storyline. I'll throw a couple things at you that we discussed. Is it about a father being disappointed in his son being a shitty superhero? Is it about a shitty superhero falling in love with someone who helps him with his power? So it's almost like this romantic thing of like rom-com of like, she has half a power that she doesn't love and he has half a power that he doesn't love, and together they're like soulmates, you know? That's kind of interesting. I don't know what the fuck the powers would be. Or the third thing is a group of superheroes getting together to kick one of them out of the group because every time he destructs shit too much. Like, it's like, dude, there was a stolen bike and you leveled a whole fucking Bay Street, you know? So it's like, those are the three kind of worlds that I think we can go into, but up to you.
Yeah, I still feel like
again, first draft, man. This is not
first draft.
We're not making the best superhero movie we've ever made right now.
I know, but like, I'm just trying to think of
what's weird, what's fun, what's wacky.
That's my thing. Like, what's an interesting spin on it? What's the Star Wars stoner comedy version of it? You know? Because like I don't know, the romance thing seems cute, but like we do that a lot. I still kind of like the like pitching a superhero, but that's a lot of these just seem like dialogue. Yeah.
I'd rather like, but also dialogue of just like thing where I like the get kicked out, because then there's like a motivation there. It's like the point of the script is to get to what he did, the evil thing or the shitty thing he did, and them kicking him out, or the father-son relationship. I think it's kind of cool.
Or like, what about a superhero? It's called like Matchmaker, and they like bring people together, but they accidentally put together two people that make the world collapse or something, you know? Like, they just like, the people were so good for each other that they destroy the world, and now he has to break them up to save the world.
That just sounds like Hitch with superpowers.
Yeah. Sounds fucking sick. Is Kevin James in that movie?
I like the idea of that.
Is Kevin James in Hitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the superpower of matchmaking. That's so interesting. And then it's like they call him Cupid, and he hates it.
Yeah. It's like it's matchmaker.
Yeah, it's Cupid. But yeah.
Or is it just spitballing on that? It's matchmaker. Everyone calls him Cupid, and he's trying to rebrand. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to do the ultimate couple matching to rebrand, but then that backfires. Like something has to backfire. The power has to backfire somehow.
But that's the thing. If his power is matchmaking, him matching to people that aren't good, then his power already there's like a plot hole.
Well, they're so good that it like, wraps around to bad. Yeah. Right. But it's just fucking complicated for a first draft of a short film that only exists on a podcast.
What if we do a parody a little bit? What if it's Training Day?
Oh,
like Denzel and Ethan Hawke for Training Day, but it's like first day on the job of the superhero, and the superheroes of like you find out it's like a Homelander kind of vibe.
Yeah,
where he's like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like Denzel was in Training Day, and then the new guy's like all like goody two shoes.
They're just going to Skid Row and like fucking.
They're just like.
Killing people,
and that's the thing. Like he saw they saw a muggle. I was gonna do it again. I don't know why the fuck I keep thinking it's muggle. They saw a mugger, and they're in the rookie's like, wow, it's cool, and he's like, I can't believe, and then whoop, he just lasers the guy, the trainer. The trainer just lasers the mugger because he's like, because he wants to take his wallet or what, like there's a reason like he escalates every time because he's a corrupt superhero.
Yeah. He'll like not just laser the hand that's holding the gun off or the knife. He'll like laser the guy's nuts so he can't procreate.
Well, maybe it's like, okay. He'll be like that where he's super, I want to save the world, and he's kind of psychotic.
But he doesn't kill, but he like tortures to the brink of like.
Well, there's corrupt in the terms of like he kills a guy because the guy has dirt on him. So it's like, oh, this superhero is actually a piece of shit, and he kills people because they have dirt on him, or he wants to steal their money or their drugs or whatever. Or it's what you're saying, where it's like he finds, which is also I think more interesting because it's less Training Day, where the trainer is just Homelander, so obsessed with cleaning the streets that, like you said, he tortures them or he lasers their nuts off because like
he's like, it's not enough to stop the thing. I need to like nip it in the bud. So I need to like teach this guy a lesson or like
nip it in the testicles,
dismember him to the point where he can't mug anymore. I just got an idea. Like they stop for lunch at like one of those food trucks and picnic table kind of things, and like they just don't order food. They just go to people's tables and they're just like start eating their food, and people are like, hey man, is like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna fucking do?
But see, that's the thing. Is he like that kind of a superhero? Because then he's more like just corrupt, and he's not Homelander. He's more like, I don't know, the fish guy. I can't remember his name. Aqua? No, what's his name?
The deep.
The deep. I love that's his name. Like the deep, where he's more douchey. Where Homelander's like, I want to just fucking clean the world of parasites. So we got to figure out that. Which again, that's an easy discussion.
Could the superhero who's the dickhead have like maybe he could have a sort of Superman style like platter, a buffet of powers, and one of them is to make people forget certain intervals of time. Yeah. So he's like a fucking crazy piece of shit and like groping people and taking their food and like jerking off in front of people.
Does it work
and
in
then
front of
he
other
like
superheroes?
If he wants it to.
But what if that's where the trainee is immune to it and he's like, oh,
that's it.
That's kind of interesting.
Like he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
But he tries to make it.
And then he really has to train him now, because at first he's like, yeah, fuck that. He trains a bunch of superheroes and they think he's great, and he only has people talking good stuff about him.
And then they have to fight at the end because the guy's like, well, you know that I'm a fucking piece of shit now, so I got to kill you.
And then the trainer goes, King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
You know what that's from?
It's from Will Smith.
Nope.
No?
Training Day, Denzel Washington.
Oh.
The movie I've been talking about.
Jesus Christ. I thought he said that in Independence Day or some shit, but
I like this idea. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we just changed it to Godzilla. Ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah,
so we can use
exactly. Yeah, that's all you do.
I like that.
Okay, let's work out the beats then a little bit. So we know it's Training Day for a superhero and a protege, rookie / whatever. Here's the question. Like, again, let's use Training Day because that's like the skeleton of it. They're cops. So the bureau's like, you're training this guy. who's fucking telling our trainer to train this? Is like a superhero
agency? It's like the agency.
Okay. Do we have like our okay, keep going, sorry.
And we could call it like recruit or something. That's a cool title.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, are they driving around in a car like training day, or is there like
are they flying
flying bike? Are they flying around?
Like if he's a Superman kind of thing, then
it'd be kind of cool if the new guy could fly.
Is it? Yeah, exactly. Because if he's Superman, then they fly. But if it's like he's Superman, but then the guy is like, I don't know, not Superman, then it's like
mediocre.
They have to do spaceship. It's being like a ship or something because they're like, oh well, I could just fly, but you can't, so we gotta.
Yeah, there's like a deficit.
Or even simplifying it even more, they never really drive around or fly around. They just chill on the top of a rooftop of the big highest building and just hang until they're like, he's like, oh, you hear that? And then they have to go down and do something.
Or does the new guy have teleportation powers or something? And it's just like, all right, take me to the beach. And
the trainer says
the trainer, it's like, all right, you like, since normally I fly everywhere, but I don't feel
that's a cool way to start off.
I don't feel like carrying you. Yeah. So let's just fucking teleport.
Well, even the starting is like he's talking. He's like, hey, name whatever it is, and he's like, says here you got teleportation. It's gonna be an easy day. He's almost like right away. Again, you can see the laziness right away, and he's very like, it's gonna be an easy day. I don't gotta fly much today.
Yeah.
And he's very like just right away like smitten by this new guy. I'm like, oh, I love this new recruit because he's gonna be like such a like a pushover or like someone I can just kind of use.
And there could be like a runner about them trying to think of his superhero name too.
That's really good.
That kind of is stealing it from the Marvels, because there's a gag in that about
the new one came out. The new one that came out. You watched it?
Yeah,
good.
It's fun. Yeah, right. It's super fun. There's like really cool, a lot of cat stuff, which I liked a lot.
You made me think something right now. I was gonna say, not for us because we know it, but for the sake of the audience, do we not? Because my first pitch right now was like, like he sees him, he's like, oh, you can teleport. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna chill on my ass today. Or is it not that you really do think he's a good guy, so he's very nice to him and blah 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 until he murders and then does the memory.
Yeah, thing. Maybe he doesn't murder. He just does really fucked up shit.
But like, either way though, so we don't right away say that see him being a douchebag.
Yeah.
In the first scene, we don't see that. We see like a nice guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Set him up like that, and then like between all the things.
Yeah.
He's a dickhead, and then he just goes forget, and then everyone forgets, and everyone goes back. All the people around him goes back to shit, and then he's like, all right, let's go to the beach now. But like the new recruit's just like, what the fuck?
Well, they
and,
go
like,
to the beach
saying shit,
and he doesn't say shit, and the guy.
And then like we build it up, and this guy's witnessing it, and dude just assumes that the guy's forgetting, and then later on he's like, but why did you do this? Why did you do this?
Like,
why did
you
do this? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, forget. He's like, no, forget, no. And then there's either a showdown or we do the thing where the showdown happens and we put
this is a cheesy ending, but what if it's like the recruit's like forget and he forgets because he has that power and it works on him, but it's kind of like, what's this loophole there maybe?
Yeah.
My other thing was going to be we set up his power as something that can end him, because its power maybe isn't just teleportation. It's like his power is like, it's Doctor Strange a little bit, where he goes like this, he opens up a portal, and then when the guy lasers him, he opens a portal and the laser goes through it and comes back through a different portal and kills him. You know what I mean? That might be too descriptive and annoying to do, right? But
yeah,
I'm just thinking like, instead of a whole battle, I'd rather be like his whole power the whole time was the one thing that could kill this guy.
Yeah.
Or like I said, the forget thing.
Yeah. Or can he like play his memories? Like, can he project his memories out? You know, like he can teleport. Well, teleportation fucking doesn't really matter. The guy's power is he can also project his memory. So he could basically like provide security cam footage of all these murders or all these like fucked up things the guy did. You know? Like he just like goes like, hey, look what happened today. And like a screen comes up. Like,
wait, who does this?
The recruit.
Okay, what's he doing to him?
He's not doing anything to him, but like he's actually, he can prove that the guy's fucked, but then that doesn't do anything to the main guy. Like it doesn't ultimately
I don't
thwart the.
This might be complicated, but it'd be interesting if it's like I like the runner idea a lot of the name, and then what if we also play with this runner idea of like, he's like, so what are your powers? And he never gets to the list of his powers. He's like, I can teleport, I can see really far, And he's like, cool. And then something happens and whatever. And then at the end he goes,
and then I could see really far. Well, okay, what's 4 miles over that way? I don't know. There's a building in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like your powers fucking suck,
it's
bro.
like and that's great. And then he keeps like dogging on him. But the cheesy ending, but also cool ending is like he goes, well, I forgot to tell you about one of my powers, because he keeps listing powers but never getting through all of his powers. And his final power can be like he's the one who can stop, and the guy freezes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Or one of his powers, he could be like, I'm thinking the best name is empathy, man, because I can take all the feelings that I've felt other people feel and make you feel them. And at the end, the recruit makes the bad guy feel all everything. The pain that he's put people through. That could be interesting. And then it could be like he could get out of the car, like fucking fuck the guy up. He goes insane because he's just dealing with all the emotional and physical trauma he's put people through. And then the recruit gets out of the car and he picks up a phone. He's like, all right, it's done. And like walks away, you know, like he wasn't actually a recruit. He was like kind of planted to. My
only thing is, and again, I know it's a first idea, but it's like empathy, man, just sounds
no, like dude, okay. I'm not. That wasn't an earnest pitch. But something like that. Yeah, it's like I have the power feelings, of man. Empathy. Telepathy.
Telepathy, man. I like that. That's interesting.
You know, and then he absorbs. Oh, maybe the source. So like maybe we don't even talk about that. Like. Maybe the source of his powers, like the sort of gas or the mana that fuels the recruit's powers, is from drawing on emotions. So like heightened emotional events give him a lot of power. There's actually a Generation X character called Sync who would do that. He would absorb, like if someone shot a beam of energy at him, like if Cyclops beamed him in the eyes, Sync would take in that energy and then redirect it and shoot it back as like a plasma beam thing. Anyway. But what if, the recruit's, one of his powers is to absorb people's emotional and physical energies. And then that fuels teleportation, that fuels other things. I don't know.
I mean, we have some, I do like this where we're headed. I think we definitely have a lot of, we have to create a lot of in-between dialogue that'll keep setting shit up. Even I do want the trainer to mention his past trainees.
Yeah.
You know, and even cut to that. Like, this one guy fucking got there, and it cuts to like this awkward thing with this other, like his superpower was fucking yelling really loud. Yeah. Or whatever. Like he just dogs on all of it.
He was unbearable to be around. Yeah. I like that a lot. And there should be if we're going to do the training day trope, maybe there has to be like the ship, like a transport or like some kind of intermediate things, or like, maybe during the teleport sequences, they go into like a portal that seems to take a long time, but like it's in our physical reality, it's like instantaneous.
Do we need that? Because it's like adding more shit for us. Because instead, we can just go right to the action.
I'm hoping for a 25-pager today.
It could start on like rooftop, and he's like, "You must be the new recruit," or what? And maybe it's like the trainer by himself, and then all he hears is like a vroom, and then the guy teleports there, and they have a quick talk or whatever. And then it's like, all right, well, first up is, and he's like, maybe he has a list of shit they have to do today. And they go through the list.
Oh, you know, it would be a really subtle way to do the forget thing. Like the main guy, like the trainer is on the roof and he's smoking just alone. And then the other guy's like, and he appears. And then the trainer like, it's like, ooh, and like flicks a cigarette right away as if his kid saw him smoking. And he just goes like, forget. And then it's not addressed.
He thinks, even the audience like, what? And then later you're like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And like maybe like that happens, the dude's witnessing it, the recruit is witnessing stuff, the trainer doesn't really realize that the guy's not forgetting, and then...
Because he's used to people just forgetting.
And then it comes up, the confrontation happens, and he's like, what do you keep saying forget? Like, you destroyed these people's lives, like, they're never going to forget that. And he's just like, you remember that stuff? And then it's like, well, he reveals like that's a secret power of mine amidst flight and super strength or whatever. And then that gives the trainee a thing. Well, it's like, well, I have a secret superpower too. It's empathy, you know? So it can tee up the reveal of these two guys having powers that they're hiding from each other. Because the trainee can be like, I know everything about you, all your powers. And I think the trainer's like, well, I left something off the list. Like, you know, you don't report everything.
And then the trainee's like, well, funny you say that. I didn't report everything either, right? Basically, it's like tit for tat. Because the fact is the trainee can be like a fan of the trainer, because that's what's fun too. It's like his role model's a piece of shit. That's what we're doing. So he's like, I know everything about you. I looked into all your powers, and there's nothing about forgetting or whatever the fuck that power is called, like memory, short-term amnesia or whatever. And he's like, well, that's something I didn't report. And then,
or like that they're back in the building at the end. It's like a bookended scene, and then they have this reveal conversation, and then he's like, I've also have a power that I've hidden from you. And he's like, oh yeah, what's that? And he's like, remember. And then all of a sudden the whole city's just like, like you just hear like people screaming in the city because they're all remembering
that's pretty fucking
what
cool.
the superhero does.
Yeah.
And then like you just see the trainer just being like, fuck, and then it's over.
Cuts to one of the bodega guys. He's like, you put so much hot sauce on that sandwich. Like, that's what he didn't forget. Yeah. It's like, that wasn't even that bad.
It's like, mayo is not that good.
It's not. Why did he put so much mayo on it? That's actually really good, and that's his power. It's like the yin yang thing, where his is literally the opposite.
Yeah,
I like that.
And then either do the thing like it's done, or it just ends.
Yeah.
Like the guy just like brings him to justice by virtue of making him realize and making the world remember that he is a piece of shit.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just finding a clean way to get to that, because I'm just being like, I can make like having a name for that power or some shit. Or even like doing a little, he gives him a dose first. He goes, well, I have a power that I didn't, because it's like they have to, what's the word? Like submit all the powers for paperwork. Like every superhero's been like accorded for, this is your power and shit.
Yeah, there's like
so
an
he's
audit.
Like, I left
there's like a power audit.
Well, he's like, I left this one off. And then he goes, well, I left one off too. And he can name the power, the rookie, but he can be like, give him a dose of it first. He goes, this, and he remembers like his childhood or some shit. And he goes, just to kind of maybe feel it. And then he goes to the whole city.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be cool. So it would be like start in the building, set up that this guy's like, oh, sick, we're just going to use your teleportation thing.
Yeah.
We might have to add some powers as we write, just to help us in a literary way.
And even like we should add like, I mean, maybe we don't have enough shit, but it'd be fun to be like when they're leaving, there's someone there working who has a power that's kind of cool, just to add. I love when like you see other superhero or something.
Yeah, well, like I do like that idea of kind of cataloging some other trainees or whatever that he's been responsible for training. And then like, what's a standard workday look like as a superhero? You show up, you get the lay of the land, like he shows you the sort of like good vantage points of the city or something, and then they're like, oh, there's a mugging, let's go deal with that. You hungry? Let's go to the food truck.
He's a piece of shit everywhere,
and he's a piece of shit everywhere he goes.
Do you
and
think
he just assumes that the guy's forgetting?
Do you think this is too on the nose or too much of a foreshadowing, where say first thing happens, mugger, piece of shit move, he like burns the guy's nuts off or something, whatever, then he goes to the food truck again, like just says, takes it and spits in some or hits on someone.
Yeah, he's just like walking by and he rips the top of a hamburger off and just like, what?
Yeah, he's like, forget. Like he just like really fucking take advantage of it. Is this too on the nose where like say that happens the second one maybe, right? The third one, then they go and there's like a stick up or some shit in like a bank or like a convenience store, right? And he goes, the guy's about to be a piece of shit, and our rookie is like, wait 1 sec, and then he makes the gunman who's like in the bank or in the wherever he's stealing remember something. So you almost foreshadow that's his power. So that he remembers it and he's like, that's kind of cool. And at the end when he brings it back, he's like, I can't just, it's not just one person that I can do it for. I can do it for everyone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that like, do we kind of plant that seed that he has that remembering power?
We could.
So it's not so random at the end, or do we like the random at the end?
For sure. It's just like, does the trainer not notice? You know?
No, he does it for the trainer, but the trainer just goes, oh, cool trick. Because the trainer still doesn't know that is not forgetting. So he's like, yeah, cool, you can do that. But he doesn't realize that he hasn't forgotten shit. So he can, because he's like, yeah, you can do this, but it's not like you remember what I did. And so, when he later finds out, so his main thing is memory. Related.
I definitely, yeah. Memory and teleportation. Like, yeah. I mean, I said that with a confused expression, but.
You were being the character.
I was being the character. No, I'm just trying to think of like how to marry those things, or like should the powers be somewhat related, or are they just like a fucking Rubik's cube of powers? Shit, yeah. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, try and format it. The actual way it would play out is like a day at work.
Yeah.
in like a couple of different destinations,
Yeah.
set up the world of the superheroes around them that we don't really see. We might see in a montage or whatever.
Right.
Dude's being a piece of shit, and then the new trainee's powers are ultimately what bring the guy to justice.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, what do you think? Do you think we're good to start moving to writing, or do you want to do more?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm. We've been at this for about 40 minutes. We had a longer prompt section. So
what's more, I'm also lately like, I mean, as long as we have a through line, I've been curious, do we need to be so specific in this section? Because isn't that what the next part is for? And
yeah, it's true. If it's just like, oh, this is you guys paraphrasing the last 40 minutes of what I've fucking listened to. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can leave some shit for surprises, because I feel like,
and one day when you guys start emailing us, you can let us know if you're like, make this section longer. And
no rewrites pod@gmail.com.
Yeah, because I feel like this is what what we did here is good, and then now we go write it off camera or off camera. We write it and then we perform it, and then you'll see the shit that's changed from now until we wrote it.
Yeah,
shit changes, dude.
Shit changes.
Yeah,
that's what that was. That's
the next podcast title when we redo
shit
it for
changes.
Season 3.
Yeah. That's changes. We rewrite. We get through a whole season and then we rewrite that season. Interesting.
That's interesting. Do a special season or spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
It's like second draft.
Yeah.
Nobody writes the first podcast.
Shit
second
changes.
Draft. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time to start writing. Okay. Stay tuned. And now, the outlier. Exterior skyscraper rooftop, morning. The anomaly, male, 40s, stands on the edge of a skyscraper, looking down at the bustling city. He looks like a classic superhero. Tall, lean, handsome. His tights perfectly accentuate his absolutely shredded physique. He brings a cigarette to his lips and inhales almost half of it in one puff. Soon, a portal sparks to life on the roof, and a young man, Owen, male, early 30s, steps through it, almost tripping before it disappears. The anomaly quickly tosses his cigarette, muttering under his breath, "Forget." Before Owen can react, the anomaly spreads his arms and brings the young man in for a bear hug. "Owen, my guy!" Owen looks down at his feet, dangling a few inches above the ground.
Wow, I feel so safe. I mean, I'm a big fan. I can't believe I got assigned to you.
Pleasure's mine. I took a look at your portfolio, top of your class, and that teleportation thing you did there was pretty cool.
Oh, it's not technically teleporting. I'm actually bridging time and space with telekinesis to open a portal from one place to another.
Sounds like teleportation to me. Owen opens up his mouth to respond, but the anomaly cuts him off. Also notice you haven't submitted a name for yourself. Hot tip, Owen doesn't have much of a ring to it.
No, I'm still trying to figure it out.
How about teleportation man?
Again, technically, it's not. I want my name to be something that really highlights my powers.
All right, well, today's about showing me what you got, so we'll figure it out as we go, but if I'm being honest, teleportation man is the one to beat. I've got a great track record for naming recruits.
Oh, like the Zodiac.
Cut to interior lab night. We see the Zodiac, male 30s, in action. He's being pummeled by a villain. He smiles as the blood drips down his chin and he lifts his hands high above his head. We hear the anomaly's voice over the scene. "Oh, you know it. Guy was like 5'5" soaking wet, but if you push his buttons in just the right way, the fucker can channel energy from celestial bodies and focus them into destructive beams that absolutely decimate his enemies." The Zodiac summons a beam of light from the sky and the villain is destroyed instantly. Cut back to exterior skyscraper rooftop, continuous.
Creative, albeit a bit on the nose.
The anomaly gets serious for a moment. "The fuck did you just say to me?" Owen backtracks.
No, I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I just don't want to squander a good opportunity to be creative.
"I'm just kidding around." The anomaly pulls out his phone. "Hey Siri, what's another word for teleport?"
Sure. Warp, beam, portal, translocate.
I have other powers too.
The anomaly hears something and tucks his phone away.
Maybe we put a pin in it for now?
The anomaly puts up his hand to shush Owen.
What is it?
Supersonic hearing must not be on that list. There's a mugging in progress, about 4 blocks away.
Okay, then let's go.
Owen wraps his arms around the anomaly. "What are you doing?"
Aren't we going to fly?
The anomaly pushes him away. "Dude, do you know how much energy it takes to fly? You can teleport or warp or whatever. Let's do that."
Right. Okay, cool. Where are we going exactly?
Jesus Christ. The anomaly picks Owen up and they zoom off into the sky. Cut to exterior alley continuous. A mugger, male, 40s, holds an elderly lady, 70s, at gunpoint. He snatches her purse and she screams in terror. He pulls back the hammer of her gun. "Keep quiet and you keep your life." Boom! The anomaly and Owen land right next to the mugger, and the anomaly deftly reclaims the purse. All right, Portal Boy, open one up, let's say, over an active volcano. Part of being a superhero is acting fast. Owen waves his hands, and a portal appears above a lava-filled crater. The anomaly turns to the mugger. All right, you've got 2 choices, volcano or vamoose. The mugger quickly weighs his options. The anomaly's eyes glow red. I'll throw in a 3rd option for free. The mugger quickly runs off, and the anomaly takes a few dollars from the woman's purse before handing it back to her.
Hey, what the heck?
The anomaly speaks quietly. Forget. The old lady's demeanor changes.
Thank you, anomaly.
Of course, ma'am. All in a day's work. He turns to Owen. You hungry? Cut to exterior food truck later. The heroes walk past the crowded picnic tables around a food truck. Worked up an appetite with that last one. As they walk by a family, the anomaly grabs a sandwich before they can react. He whispers, forget. He looks back at Owen. See, kid, it's all about pacing yourself. Powers just don't come from nowhere. We need energy to fuel them. He grabs a basket of fries from a couple as he walks by. They protest. Forget. The same family returns to eating like nothing happened. Anomaly hands Owen the basket. French fries? So, any questions for me about the job?
Do you have a sort of like code of conduct you adhere to? Or like, you know, a great power, great responsibility kind of thing?
The anomaly chuckles. Yeah, sure. But it's important to realize that you sometimes need to make some hard choices on behalf of the people you're sworn to protect. The anomaly grabs a burger from a teenager's plate. Hey, mister, that's my burger. The anomaly takes a bite of the burger, lifts the top bun, spits in it, and returns it. Forget. The teenager takes a bite, ignoring the transgression. Owen is about to protest, but he's distracted by an explosion in the distance. A massive shockwave sweeps takeout containers off the picnic tables. The crowd panics. The heroes turn to the source.
That came from 4th and Wilshire. I got this.
Owen opens a portal. The anomaly takes some fries from a now vacant table and stuffs them in his mouth. Nice. They both step through it. Cut to exterior street, continuous. Mandroid, a frail old man in a robotic suit, smashes cars as he stomps through the city block with malice. He shoots flames from the palms of his mech-like suit. Civilians scatter in fear. A portal appears, and the anomaly and Owen step through casually. Mandroid, I thought you were locked up.
The anomaly. Nice to see some consistency with your penchant for vulnerable young boys.
Mandroid shoots 2 streams of flames at Owen, who quickly reacts and opens a portal in front of him, leaving the young hero unscathed. The anomaly exhales frosty clouds of frozen steam, effectively freezing Mandroid's weapons. Mandroid pushes a button on his arms, and the main guns fall off, revealing a gruesome pair of serrated blades. The anomaly turns to Owen. Relocator, I need a portal from here to behind him. Owen does as he's told, and the anomaly grabs a civilian and tosses him into the portal. He lands behind Mandroid, causing him to turn and impale the innocent man. Forget. Owen is shocked. The anomaly uses the distraction and blasts Mandroid in the back with his laser eyes, melting the mech suit. Defeated, Mandroid lies on the ground in the tendrils of his failed technology. He spits blood with a smile.
It's been a pleasure, but I've got one more trick up my clock.
The anomaly wastes no time, sticks his fingers in Mandroid's eyes and picks him up like a bowling ball. He flings him into a building, flies over to him, and pummels him to death before he can hit the ground. Then, he uses his laser vision to completely dissolve Mandroid's lifeless body. A beat of silence as Owen and civilians look on in terror. The anomaly casually yells out, "Forget!" The vibe changes. "Aw, shucks, Mandroid got away, but don't worry, folks, you're safe for now." Everyone cheers except for Owen. The anomaly puts his hand on his shoulder. "All right, about time to call it a day. Warp us back to the rooftop." Owen reluctantly opens a portal. Cut 2. Exterior skyscraper rooftop, continuous. They step out of the portal onto the roof. "Good backup, kid. Don't worry, we'll be ready for him when he gets back." Owen sits down, still reeling.
When he gets back? Pretty sure you killed him.
The anomaly smile disappears. "Excuse me?"
You killed him.
"Forget."
Why do you keep saying that?
The anomaly tenses up. "Forget."
How can I forget? What happened to responsibility? You can't just kill people. I thought this was about justice.
The anomaly grabs him by the collar. "Forget."
Whatever it is you're trying to do, it doesn't work on me, okay? I know you stole the woman's money. I know you ate food that wasn't yours. And I know you killed an innocent civilian before blowing Mandroid to smithereens.
The anomaly pulls him closer. "But how?"
I would have told you that one of my powers is flawless memory. But you never stopped talking.
The anomaly lets him go and laughs. "Ha! I see. Well, usually no one remembers the little details. But can you blame me? These people are weak. I risk my neck day after day to save their pitiful lives, and for what? I don't get paid enough for this shit.
I need fuel to fight, and I'm just super fucking tired of Mandroid shit. A beat. Huh, I guess Memory Boy it is.
No, I was thinking more like the outlier, since I'm an exception to the anomaly.
Sure, the anomaly and the outlier. Sounds like a fun duo.
Yeah, you won't be much of a partner if you're in a containment cell.
Ha! You think anyone is gonna believe you? A rookie's word versus the most beloved superhero in the world? Owen smiles this time.
No, they won't believe me, but it's not my memories you have to worry about.
Owen closes his eyes.
Remember.
The anomaly laughs it off until the cityscape is slowly drowned out by the pained shrieks of concerned citizens echoing in the distance. The anomaly looks down and uses his supersonic hearing. His face drops as he hears countless voices, all turning on him, remembering his atrocities. Livid, the anomaly turns to Owen. I knew you were a loser the second I laid eyes on you. The anomaly lunges at Owen with lightning speed, but Owen opens up a portal. The anomaly flies straight through it. Cut to interior containment cell continuous. The anomaly lands violently in a windowless containment cell. He gets his bearings and watches the portal close. No. He punches the wall with all his strength, but doesn't even make a dent. No! He punches the wall again and again, but to no avail. No! Cut to black. Title card. The Outlier. Finn.
In conclusion.
Okay, we're back.
I got a game.
Okay, another game.
How good are you with the MCU?
I'd say like a 4 to 6.
Actually?
Yeah, I mean,
just
try it. Just try it.
Well, you won't. Okay, so the game is within 1 minute. Can you name all the movies in order?
No.
No. Oh, okay, so that
Like
didn't work.
Yeah.
How about this game then? We'll do the blind ranking
Okay.
of top 6 MCU films.
Okay.
You don't know which order I'm gonna throw the.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Iron Man 3.
And 5 is the best.
6. So it's top. No, it's top 6 films.
Top 6.
Top 1 is number 1.
Okay. Iron Man 3. 5.
Okay. Ant-Man.
6.
Okay, that's pretty easy. Winter Soldier.
2.
Infinity War.
4.
Whoa. Doctor Strange, the first one.
Ooh. I didn't love that one, so I wish I had a 3. Oh, wait, did I already say 3?
Yeah.
So I have a 2 now.
No, you said 4.
I saw 3 is 3. That would be my 3.
Okay, and then number 1, Endgame. It has to be your number 1.
But no, I have a 2 left, don't I?
No. 2 you said was... Fuck, you just said it.
Oh, it's Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So Endgame is
Number
right.
1. That's interesting. So wait, time out. Okay, I'm gonna ruin the whole point of the game is not to get your actual ranking, but Endgame isn't number 1 for you?
Nah.
Number 1 would be Winter Soldier for you?
No, that's high up there, but I really liked
Civil War?
No, Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok.
Fair.
Yeah.
Right. I'm okay, unpopular opinion, but I think Ragnarok was a bit overrated. I thought it was good, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think Endgame was like emotional. It's like,
Hello. Feelings. I haven't felt you in a while.
There you are, feelings.
I've been stuffing you down for years, and all of a sudden, I gotta feel you.
And it took Endgame. Didn't take Schindler's List.
It didn't take the news today.
It took fucking Endgame. All right. I still don't know what the recap session is for us.
Okay. So, yeah, we've been having trouble with this last session because the thing we never like about what we do is the rules that we impose on ourselves. So
it's always like, what did you
that's
like
what
the
we,
least about this?
Yeah.
Oh, the fact that we could only write one
Let's just talk about where it started to come together. Let's forget about...
I think the training day, I remember that.
The training day is kind of where it changed in like the idea of this sort of Homelander proxy being a shitty person, but like getting away with it, not because like people are covering it up, but because part of his power structure is to make people forget when he says
it's like, imagine
forget.
Homelander had that power where he's a piece of shit, but then he can also be like, forget.
Yeah.
That would be fun to watch. Not the forget thing, but like I would like to see the boys do an episode where it's like Homelander training, which might happen in the next season because his son's gonna be like in the next season. So who knows, right?
Yeah, it's gonna get nuts, that show.
I don't know where the fuck you go because apparently they've already changed so much from the graphic novel. Like that son's not supposed to exist.
Yeah, I know. In Black Noir is not who he was in the show in the comic book.
Did they show Black Noir? I can't remember.
Yeah, they did. Remember there was that episode where he was like watching the cartoons in the darkness and shit, and like he was kind of having this moral dilemma about Homelander. I don't want to spoil.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's
I gotta watch Gen V still too.
It's really good. But yeah, like the Training Day thing, I think really glued all the things together, and then we just sort of pasted all that. It was like it seemed the beat seemed to kind of roll off easy with him like stealing the food and shit and saying forget, but like we did keep running into like logic errers.
Yeah, which is again on a first draft of superheroes, how are you not gonna?
Yeah, you're just kind of pounding it out and like figuring it out as you go. But I don't know. I think it's as tight as a first draft could be for a fucking podcast about first drafts. Yeah.
See, that's exactly why I don't want to do the section like this anymore, because as we've said that exact sentiment, both of us, so many times. What's the best we can do with the first draft?
Well, maybe we just don't recap it.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about that. We just talk, or we just talk like whatever. Like while we were writing, I started thinking of superhero stuff, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to talk about, you know? So we can just make it a conversation after, you know?
That's true.
Or this is the time, guys. There's no time like now to email us at
norewritespod@gmail.com.
So that you can tell us to shut up, because you might be like, guys, just stop.
Yeah.
This recap bullshit.
So
also, it didn't help that I had my sinuses today. Like really act up, so I felt very muddy today writing this one.
Yeah,
like I would write for a bit and then I just like want to sit down and like put my head down. So which also that's how writing is sometimes. You write even on rainy days.
Maybe with the worst superpower being sick all the time, you're sick, so you're
contagious man.
Contagious man. Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, you asked me this question, and I think I answered it. Like the best power I think would be to stop time or control time in general. Worst power would be something that's like the things around you can like, you know, limit you. Like for example, I can see really far. Cool, go see look at that person down there. No, I can't. There's a building in front of me. So that's an example. What according to you? What's the best superpower and the worst?
Best superpower I think would be if you had the proper like, you know, Arc'teryx, wind-breaking, like clothes, flight would be the best. Okay. Like just being able to fly, but like I just feel like that would be a really cold thing to do.
They never talk about that, eh?
No. Like obviously Superman's like impervious to everything. Like he flies away to his little boy cave in the ice.
Little boy cave. That sounds fucking wrong.
Right.
His little boy cave.
Yeah, it just seems like he's there. He's regressing when he's in that Fortress of Solitude or whatever. So obviously he doesn't feel the cold, but like, you know, if we look at the Unbreakable universe and like someone's ability was to fly, they would be fucking freezing.
Yeah. What would be the worst superpower?
The worst superpower, I think maybe I did answer it earlier. I think it would be like the rogue power where you absorb, if you touch something, you absorb it. Like I really do. I mentioned earlier as well, like psychometry, like being able to touch this dry erase eraser and like know where it came from and like all the people who touched it or whatever, like as like a procedural cop show superpower, that'd be amazing. But imagine you're just like,
well, you're on a date.
You're on a date and your hand bangs on a table at La Senza, and then you're just like, and you just see like all these people.
You're on a date at La Senza?
Well,
the fuck kind of date is that, dude?
I don't know, because I actually did hit my hand on a table in La Senza once, and I still have a scar from it.
Was that on your first date?
I don't think.
Second date's from La Senza. First date's dinner.
I don't know, because like that's just what you did in high school.
Fair.
I guess you get your parents to drop you off at the mall and you wander around and you like figure out what it is.
And you're like, maybe if I go to La Senza, then she'll have ideas.
Yeah, well, it's like after you, ladies' choice, and then we'll go to Music World. They have a small punk section. Yeah.
And then you show off in front of.
But like, yeah, if you hit your hand on something, then all of a sudden you like, you know, or like. Maybe like noxious gases, like when you fart like you know, death penalty kind of like gas
that's
chamber
interesting
shit.
You have control. You can either do like that, which is like gas that can kill you, or you can do what's it called, like flash grenade smoke.
Yeah.
Or you can do like a bomb, or you can do like toxic or sleeping gas or like laughing gas. You have any gas you want. In your fucking...
But it all you would need to like eat certain foods before going to fight. You're like, okay, what do we
you have
think
to be gassy.
would happen?
You can control the gas, but you have to be gassy.
You have to be gassy. But
you can't
like,
just be on gassy on command.
Also, the food that you eat dictates the type of
that's a lot.
gas.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So you're like, all right, are we going to...
Are we trying to kill someone? Or are we trying to just put them to sleep?
Yeah, exactly. It's like pizza or salad. What's going to happen?
And funny enough, salad's the one that kills them. That's the plot twist. You think the pizza's going to be the toxic one. No.
Yeah.
Pizza just makes them go to sleep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, I like this recap better. It should be this. It should be whatever the prompt was, we come back to it and talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is like such sausages being made conversation.
This is the sausage podcast. I guess it's two dudes.
Yeah, it's a sausage fest.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Anything else you'd like to add, buddy?
I think we're good today. I think we did it.
I can't wait to go pop some medicine and pass out.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cure man.
What's his power?
He pops medicine and wakes up okay.
All right.
On that note, see you later.
Peace.
No Rewrites is produced by Adeel Shamsi and Jono Hunter. Edited by Justin Stevenson. Sound designed by Aaron Harastovic. Some additional voices performed by Katie Trudeau. And the stuff in between segments was recorded by Kevin Brown. If you have an idea for a prompt, email us at norewritespodcast@gmail.com or DM us at norewritespodcast on Instagram. No Rewrites is an independent show, so please make sure to like and subscribe and tell your friends, please. Thank you.